Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think they were ranked as in 1 to 50. I don't think they're ranked as in, best book to read and worst
okay.
book
Because
to
most
read.
people would assume that.
Yeah. I think they're more like the 50 you should read.
So not necessarily this is the number one book.
No.
Okay.
And I think they were trying to, after reviewing the list a few times, I noticed they were really trying to have a bit of everything
Variety,
in the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one I looked at was Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. Now, I remember when I was about, a long time ago, I was a receptionist.
Yes.
A guy I was working with actually recommended that I read this book, and I think I got through about the first 2 chapters, and I thought, nah.
Yeah.
This is just not for me. But it sounds really interesting in retrospect, and so much of this I kind of think, I have read some of these books when I was younger, and usually it was to do with school.
I think sometimes you were forced to read them, so you weren't going into reading them with an open mind.
Yeah, and it was
like I have to read it. Yeah,
it's a real pity, because as an adult now looking back and reading back on them, I kind of think, there's so much in these.
There was a reason they wanted you to read it.
I know. There's so much in these. I appreciate it now, and it's in some ways it kind of puts you off. So should you be being forced to read them? I don't know.
I think that is, and I think that's a very good point, because yes, I think there's whether it's just your rebellion at that age group when you're in your teens or something, I don't know. But there does seem to be like it's on the book list and you have to read it. For whatever reason, so many of us think, why do I have to read this?
Yeah,
it's like, the teacher's telling me to read it. So for some reason you instantly resist
you've got
reading
your backup.
it. Yeah. But in retrospect, and often if you go back and read them in later life, it's like, I can see why this is a good book. This has got a good theme or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So this book was, Catch-22 was set in the later stages of World War II. And it's often cited as one of the best works of the 20th century. It's very non-chronological in style, so it flits back and forth, and that's quite a contemporary way of writing. Even in filmmaking, a lot of films do that. It was quite significant with Pulp Fiction. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
I did,
but
yes.
It was like 3 different characters, and they were all doing 3 different things.
But then they intertwined later,
towards the end, it all kind of makes sense, and that's how this book was written.
I actually saw the film of Catch-22, which was made in the 60s, and I found that, because that did that in the film, and I found it quite a difficult film to watch.
So I wonder if it would have been easier as a read, because you can actually go back and so hang on, what was happening to that? The main themes that are explored were that, obviously with the name, is that no-win situation. That was the main thing. And it looked at sanity versus insanity, and heroes and absurdities and bureaucracies and inefficiencies and associated with bureaucracies.
Because I think wasn't the Catch-22 because it was fighter pilots, I think, and the fighter to actually have a rest, to have a break from being a fighter pilot, you had to be declared insane, and you went insane because you didn't get a break.
Yes.
So that was the Catch-22. Yeah.
So, but there just seems to have been so much in it, because it says it also sort of looked at religious faith and the inevitability of death, and greed and personal integrity and, all those things. So it just sounds like...
And who wrote that?
That was Joseph Heller.
And when was that actually published?
It was published 1961.
Okay, yeah. Well, that sounds like that's a book worth reading or revisiting.
Sounds really interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
I don't know for sure that book didn't actually come up with that term, Catch-22. I'm not sure if that actually comes from the book.
Oh, like as it originated?
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure of that, and if any of our listeners know, we'd love to some feedback on that. But for some reason, I'm thinking that the book actually... that's where it comes from. That's where that term comes from.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing with classics, that there's a lot of things that we refer to without even realising that it's come from something like that.
Yes, if anyone knows that for sure, get onto the Facebook page
and let us know.
Yeah.
Actually, talking about the Facebook page, we have got a little competition.
Oh, cool. Tell
month.
us about that.
We're going to give away one of the bookmarks we're being inspired by. It's a beautiful metal bookmark, and it's got engraved on it the 50 books you must read before you die.
Yeah.
And what we don't want you to work too hard to get it. So all we want you to do is get onto the Facebook page. Just if you're on Facebook and you're not a fan of ours yet, all you have to do is go into the search area and type in Collins Booksellers Werribee, and it'll take you to our Facebook page. And just write a comment about Book Chat if you've been listening over the last few months, and tell us what you think.
Or even of tonight's show.
Yeah, and we'll just do a little draw. And
excellent.
Yeah, and we'll announce on Facebook and YouTube and everything else. Who the winner is.
Oh, fantastic!
And
we love to get feedback at any time, but this is a bit more of an incentive to give us some feedback. So yeah, terrific. Okay. Oh well, we might just play a song and I'll get that phone. You're listening to 88.9 Win FM. That's Alec Lloyd with You Are Amazing. And on the line then we have one of our listeners ringing in to say what their favourite book of all time was, and it was Pride and Prejudice. Yeah. And what we'd really love is for people to get on Facebook over the next month, because we're going to carry this topic into our next book chat in August.
Well, Denise and I just thought there's just so much information to talk about, and we're both really excited about it. We had a listener. So ring in.
And we'd love you to get onto Facebook and tell us what some of your favourite books are. Yeah,
and go into the draw to have a chance to win one of these great bookmarks.
Absolutely.
I will finish up today's show with The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. It was written, can you believe that it was written in 1898?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realise. I thought it was written in the 40s for some reason.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought like early 90s, early 1900s.
I did not realise. I thought it was post-war for some reason. I don't know why, but I did.
So very interesting. I didn't know that. And it's about and the narrator of the story travels around the suburbs of London while Earth is being invaded by Martians.
You know why I thought that? Because of the Orson Welles radio, which was actually the 1930s. That's why. Sorry, God, I'm just thinking why I thought that.
And apparently it's, I don't know whether this is 100% sure or not, but there seems to be, it seems to have been the first book ever written about mankind having issues with aliens.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
1898, yeah.
Wow.
So the book,
that's interesting. Well, again, if that's be the case, that's a first again.
Amazing. Like, look what it started.
Oh, I know. And how many, like Orson Welles' radio show of the 1930s, of course, and there's been many mini-series, and just a couple of years ago we had the Tom Cruise version of War of the Worlds. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, but I mean, not to mention what else it triggered, like Doctor Who. And,
oh, absolutely.
I mean, like
the spin-offs, all the other stories. Yeah,
crazy stuff.
And the obsession really with UFOs.
It is like that. There's someone out there. Yeah. And they're actually like mean.
Well, I think that is the theme of the War of the Worlds, is that they're not very nice and they're really out to destroy Earth and take over Earth, which I guess is a bit of an analogy of war, really, in general, isn't it? I mean, War of the Worlds, obviously, but just war, someone wanting to come in and take over and destroy the people that are there.
Which is really interesting. He moved on to that because he did The Time Machine.
Oh, yes, of course.
And that was like it was classified as a scientific romance. So he wrote a scientific romance. So he was obviously interested in the sci-fi.
Yes.
And then he moved on to this war depiction of war. But
the Time Machine also has really humans being more or less destroying themselves as well in that, because it goes through, the future. But that's interesting. And then he's gone on to the War of the Worlds.